Tonight on KGW News, a destructive crime spree. The youngest suspect is just 11 years old.
It's a massive disruption to us at the moment.
And in Portland's latest case of gun violence, a man opens fire on employees and customers at an AutoZone. Plus, a 100-year-old ship sinks in the Columbia River. Now it might sit there for years to come.
A big growing problem across Oregon.
Then later, creating smoke-resistant grapes.
We are adapting and learning as fast as we can.
The work scientists are doing to protect Oregon wine from wildfires. Your news starts now. And we start tonight with several children and teens under arrest after a crime spree. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. They were caught in Marion County after being accused in a string of burglaries in Camas, Washington. Catherine Cook has the story.
Business owners here in downtown Camas say they're upset by what happened, but more than that, they're sad. Most of the suspects police arrested in this case were just kids. The youngest was 11 years old, and the driver was just 14. When the guys at Birch Street Uptown Lounge say on the rocks,
they're pretty smooth.
They don't usually mean this, but it's what they got Sunday morning. Same with 3 other businesses in downtown Camas. Glass doors shattered. Caps and Taps was hit. So was Papermaker Pride.
Saw that they'd thrown a rock through the front door and glass was everywhere.
Co-owner Karen Gibson says the crooks took some cash and a few items from the store, which they later tossed in the street. Police say it happened around 4 a.m. And in this tight-knit community, word spread fast.
People saw it, they came down, they wanted to help. They came with their gloves, they wanted to help clean up.
The crew from Camas Slices brought over a pizza.
It's a massive disruption to us at the moment.
They were hit, too.
Sunday morning, we had so many people coming in asking if they could just help us clean up. And I know the manager from across the street of the Camas Papermakers, they helped us repair our door.
Security footage shows the suspect's vehicle, a Jeep Wrangler, reported stolen out of Tualatin. Late Monday afternoon, Marion County Sheriff's deputies spotted the car in Salem. They say the driver ran multiple lights while trying to get away. Deputies used spike strips on State Street near Cordon Road to deflate the Jeep's tires. 2.5 miles later, deputies say the driver, a 14-year-old boy, finally stopped. They say the driver and several passengers ran into a neighborhood. Inside the Jeep, deputies found guns, meth, and cash. Eventually, they found all 6 suspects, including 4 kids, ages 11, 13, 14, and 16. They also arrested a 19 and 23-year-old. The end of a multi-state crime spree.
It's like a 14-year-old driver, which was crazy.
Back in Camas.
Hopefully they learn from it and they won't do it again going forward.
Business owners say even after a tough weekend in an even tougher year,
That's the thing, we are all small businesses.
they're thankful.
It's great support from the town.
In Camas, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
More than 300,000 kids in Oregon could soon get the COVID vaccine. The CDC gave it final approval today for children 5 to 11 years old. Now a group of health experts from West Coast states is reviewing the data. They could announce their recommendation as soon as tomorrow. Afterward, state health officials will give the go-ahead to providers to start administering the doses. The child-sized shots contain just a third of the dose given to teens and adults. Doctors from the Oregon Health Authority are still concerned with vaccination levels in minority communities. Even though there has been a lot of progress, there's still a long way to go to reach 80%. Right now in Oregon, under 60% of Latinos and African Americans are fully vaccinated. Within the white community, the number is closer to 70%. Libra Ford works for Self Enhancement, Inc., a group that helps the Black community in Portland. Over the past few months, they've had about a dozen events where they vaccinated close to 1,000 people.
So each of our vaccination sites were very culturally specific. So you walked in, there was music playing, we had good food, lots of faces that looked like yours showed up, and smiles. And the first thing we did is in that welcoming environment is educate you.
If you need to get a COVID vaccine, Multnomah County still has weekly clinics. We have a link on our website with more information on where they are. In Portland's latest case of gun violence, a man is accused of shooting at employees and a customer inside a store. According to court documents, he said he was mad he wasn't able to rob the store last week. As Alma McCarty found out, the suspect and the stolen car he was driving ended up in one woman's front yard. Alma?
I spoke with the woman who lives on North Fowler Avenue. She didn't feel comfortable going on camera, but told me she had no idea the extent of the alleged crimes that led the suspect to her door.
2 employees at this AutoZone on North Lombard recalled the scary situation that played out Monday evening. According to court documents, the workers explained a man drove into the parking lot, parked, and approached the front door, telling them, "I tried to rob this store last week, and someone pointed a gun at me." Then they told officers he got back in the car. As he was driving away, they say he fired 2 rounds out of the front passenger window, right at both employees. The bullets also narrowly missed one customer who was inside shopping. No one was hit. While police were investigating there, they got a call to North Fowler Avenue, where a vehicle and driver matched the suspect description. In the front yard was a man slumped over in a car. The woman who lives there, who did not wish to be identified, captured this picture when she noticed the strange car outside. She tells me the flash from the phone woke him, and the man inside became agitated and aggressive, then mentioned a gun. She escaped inside and called police.
Police arrested Michael Fair Mabry, who's now charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. He was also charged for possessing a stolen car and as a felon for having a gun.
Thank you, Alma. The results are starting coming in for local elections tonight. There were several big issues on the ballot in Clark County that we've been following tonight. A measure that would fund county jails is failing right now. Proponents of a sales tax increase wanted the new revenue to free up existing funds to pay for body-worn cameras for Clark County Sheriff's deputies. Not all the votes are counted yet, though. In the race for Vancouver mayor, it looks like Democrat Ann McInerney-Ogle will get another term. She's leading right now with 67% of the vote against her challenger, former Republican Party Chair Earl Bowerman. And lastly, a replacement levy for battleground schools is a close race. Right now, 52% of votes are in favor of it. The levy would bring in a total of $116 million over 4 years. Proponents say if it fails, they'll have to cut more than $28 million in programs and staff next year. Don't be surprised if you stop seeing flavored tobacco products in Washington County. Today, it became the first county in Oregon to ban them. The Board of Commissioners passed an ordinance which prohibits the sale of all flavored tobacco products, including menthol cigarettes and flavored e-cigarettes. Retailers who are caught violating the ban could face fines up to $4,000. The ban goes into effect next month. A former U.S. Coast Guard vessel abandoned in the Columbia River has sunk. We took you there this summer off Hayden Island when the boat was floating. It's just one example of a much bigger problem that could cost the state and taxpayers millions of dollars. Galen Etlin has the update.
The Alert isn't what she used to be.
Gotten to worse and worse condition.
The abandoned 1920s Coast Guard vessel that KGW toured in August now sits at the bottom of the Columbia River off Hayden Island. It sunk on Sunday.
A boat that's floating in that condition is always at risk of sinking.
Scott Smith is an emergency response planner with the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality. He has been on board the Alert many times over the last year to assess environmental risks.
And it can be extremely hazardous.
DEQ, the Coast Guard, and other agencies helped remove thousands of gallons of hazardous material, including oil, chemicals, and batteries. So now that the Alert has sunk, they say it's not leaking significant pollution into the river.
Absolutely concerned.
Leanne O'Neill with the Oregon Department of State Lands says the Alert is just one example.
A big growing problem across Oregon.
Derelict boats litter state waterways, and ones like the Alert and its neighboring tugboat, the Saccharissa, often have transient people on board.
There is no easy solution.
Each boat can cost $1 million to remove, and now the Alert is sunk, taxpayers are left with a bigger bill.
Double or quadruple the costs.
Everybody knows we want to get these boats out of the water.
Lieutenant Lisa Siebert says the Coast Guard already spent about $300,000 to remove hazards on board these ships and doesn't have the means to raise and remove this one.
It's setting a bad precedent to have to do that for every vessel all over the United States in the future.
To see the state of the alert now, how do you feel?
It's a shame it ran its life's course.
So where is the owner? These boats don't have one. A nonprofit hoped to restore the vessels, but the owner died and the boats were left behind.
This exemplifies the broken dreams of many people.
Now it's on the state and taxpayers.
Current funding levels through all the agencies that are involved in derelict vessels, it'd be something like 200 years to be able to remove all the derelict vessels here.
Washington has a program to remove boats like this, but Oregon does not.
We need the financial resources in order to do these types of removals.
But it's going to take help from everybody.
The Coast Guard is investigating, but thinks people leaving hatches open may have filled the alert with rainwater, weighing it down. And with people at risk on the neighboring ship, agencies hope they can find the money to remove these boats soon.
Prevent this from happening to the Saccharissa.
Once proud ships, not what they used to be. Galen Etlin, KGW News.